A new format, new layout this year. Well, slightly new layout, I suppose, in terms of the timing. So it went from 10 minutes to 7. Am I
Yeah,
correct?
and previously it was at 15 minutes as well, wasn't it?
15.
Wasn't it 8? No?
I think it was 8. They brought it down to 8.
Yeah, it went.
down.
First round was 8 minutes. Second round was 7 minutes, wasn't it? But that was it's always been 7, hasn't it, for the second and third round? So yeah, that was fine.
I mean, I did not stay up and watch it because I said I'm not feeling overly well. I'm not overly well now, and I just didn't think it'd be wise for me to stay up and watch it. But I got up straight away in the morning, didn't check my phone, didn't check anything up until I texted Andrew, giving him blow by blow of the picks I was doing because I knew that he wouldn't say anything, and I didn't trust other people within our group chats not to say something. So we spoke personally about it, and afterwards, me and Adam chatted about it because I said, "Oh, I've done it now. I've completed it. It's all finished, everything." And we noticed because of the time change, boy, did it fly.
Yeah, it went really, really quick. And prior to the draft actually happening, I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about how good it is that they've brought the minutes down and how well it's going to go. And if this is the trend going, it'll be 5 minutes next year and all that. And then it went so quick and they couldn't keep up with it. And I actually, for me, it kind of spoilt it a little bit. I'm sure Adam will have some points to make, but there is one big point I will make that was really ruining it for me. So yeah, I felt like it was too quick.
So I think
to also add on top of that, the total time, because I obviously watched it the next day and had it, the total time was 3 hours, 45 minutes, including ad breaks.
Yeah. So I think it's doable. I think where the problem comes in is that the TV companies want to interview the players that are there. And they want to bring them out on stage and they want to do the little interview, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. They've done that for years. The problem is that once you start doing that, obviously that takes time. And if you've literally got, if someone makes the pick and the next team is literally right on the clock straight away, you've got 8 minutes and they're not even leaving the room, and you've got 8 minutes. So it's like, it's incredibly tight. You end up with, so I ended up just going, I literally just had WhatsApp on my phone and that was it, because I was getting notifications from so many different sort of NFL insiders and Sleeper and companies like that were just telling me what the pick was before it had come up on the television. So I literally just went onto WhatsApp where we were talking about it, and that was kind of the end of it. So it works out if you do that, but if you don't do that, you're getting it all through on your phone way before. And they reached a point where they were quite a long way ahead. They must have been about 2 or 3 picks ahead. And
it was the start of the top of the first round. It was pick 7. I think it was the Washington picks in.
Yeah.
And they announced the pick. I think Sonny Styles comes onto the stage. And as that happened, you saw Saints picks in, Browns picks in.
Brown.
And I said to Adam, because like in between, I'm just having a little scroll on Instagram. I'm not trying to find who's been picked. And I went, oh, great. I texted Adam and went, well, according to Instagram, Browns are taking Fano and Giants are taking Maui Noah. So if they start coming in, Sonny Styles is on the stage and I already know what pick 10 is. And I was just like, that spoiled it a little bit.
Completely spoiled it.
Because I literally couldn't go on Instagram.
Yeah.
What was I think the Dolphins saved it.
Yeah.
A little bit, because the Dolphins took the full 8 minutes to trade their pick away and then took the full 8 minutes to make their pick. And I think by doing that, it kind of brought it back to a point. But even then, further down the line, you ended up again where picks had already been made and you were waiting. Like I say, I think there's nothing wrong with doing 8 minutes. I think that's fine. You have to adjust how you're going to do the TV coverage, though, and having the interviews, I think, is a big problem.
They also noticing it from doing it full the next day without because I didn't want to go on my phone, because I didn't want to be able to see him. So I pretty much did,
Mm.
I did the whole 3 hours, 45 minutes, only really texting my partner and Andrew, and that was it. I didn't, that's, you know, pretty level pegging there. Andrew and my partner, that's, she knows that as well. Don't worry about it. But because I wasn't on my phone, I noticed the ads were really back ended. It was like pick 20. That's when they started. It would be like 2-3 picks, add 2-3 picks, add 2 picks, add 2 picks, add. And I don't mind ads. I don't mind it. And like you said, when you're watching it live and you're on your phone, it's fine, because but you sometimes you get a spoiler every now and then, but you tend to be good. And the two things that really stuck out to me: the complete lack of jeopardy with trading picks. It became catching up with it. It didn't become instant. It didn't become, oh my gosh, they've just traded it away. It was, we're interviewing Sonny Styles, 2 picks. There's been a trade, and it was like, what like, when's that trade? And I felt like there was no emphasis on what was in that trade, what's been traded.
No,
there was no emphasis on that.
Yeah.
And my second one is, and I feel bad for them, because I generally like Rich Eisen a lot. I generally like all his podcasts. I like his show. I'm a very big Rich Eisen fan. I can take or leave Daniel Jeremiah, big Joel Klatt guy. Charles Davis, I don't really listen to much of whatever he's doing. But them four tend to do a pretty darn good job of the whole breakdown of it, of the excitement of it as well. And you could tell, and they were even sort of joking about it.
Yeah.
They were a bit like, we don't know what's going on. This is too, you could tell they were losing control of it. And for 4 experienced guys like that to be losing control of it, you can tell they were ill prepared for it as well. But there was things not going wrong, because it was essentially going completely right, wasn't it, in the NFL way?
Well, I suppose the thing you've got with that is, if I know 3 picks in advance who the Giants have got, they also must know already, and they're going, oh, so who do you think they'll take with this pick? Oh, and you're going, you know who they've taken. Like,
there was a few later on that were very obvious with Daniel.
Yeah, why are you trying to make it a bit of jeopardy, or will it be him?
Yeah.
You already know, and it's almost like, well, are you giving me analysis? Are you giving me, like, you know, you're just hearing and saying then, and I think that takes away a lot from it as well, because I do love listening to the breakdown that they talk about, what their thoughts, what they think should happen, and stuff like that. So I think it took a little bit of that away from it as well with me. I also think that there should be more attendees at it. I think there was only 16 there this time, wasn't there? And I think I like it when there's more and they're all coming out, and there's a bit of jeopardy of people not being picked.
But I think the problem is, if you have more attendees, you can't have 8 minutes. This is what I mean. It makes it even
a show, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's really going to be about what it is they want it to be moving forward.
Because don't get me wrong, we are a little bit watching it for the oh wow moments. You know, we got it quite early with Carnell, with Jeremiah Love and Carnell Tate.
Yeah.
For some people, that was an oh wow, they've gone that direction moment, and we just got like really less and less and less of that. The more, like, I think the next wow moment was sort of, well, Ty Simpson maybe, and then after that, there was 1 or 2 where I went, oh, that's different. You know, but unfortunately, there is a little bit of a culture now where we do watch it, where we want to have the old wow moments. And
do you not think that the reason behind that is just purely the quality of the players that were in the draft this year? I mean, to me, it felt like the ones, because the 3 you've just mentioned are all sort of like offensive guys who you kind of hope are going to be, you know, decent in the NFL. Whereas, and, you know, do you get excited for the offensive tackle? You know, it's a little bit like, I think sometimes it can be a bit like that. And so, and also just the quality and whereas
don't get me wrong, when it's quarterback loaded, it's way more fun. Of course.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. Yeah.
Of course it is. It's going to be. And that is a bit of indicative of what this draft class was, which was, and to be frank, I've said it, like, personally to you two quite a bit, and to others within the franchise tag. It hasn't done it for me this year. It's just not. I've not been as invested. I've been a bit busier socially and with work. So I've not given that much time to the draft this year, even though other years I'm mocking in like January, February, March. I've had a bit of a change of jobs, that, you know, that changes up, but like, you know, that's what, but in the wider scope of NFL fans in the UK and worldwide, if the class isn't doing it for you, I do think you do just generally go like, I can take or leave it. Like I want to see how my team does, and the first round,
Yeah.
not
But
really
I
interested
think
in
that's
that.
quite interesting coming from you, because I would say exactly the same thing. And yeah, I've done the show, and we've done the draft show and all of that, and we've gone through it all and gone through the top tens and done all of that. But I felt exactly the same. Like I felt like it wasn't a particularly great class this year. I wasn't overly bothered about it. I watched round 1, 2, and 3 all the way through, but day 3 I saw bits of it, and I saw certain players go, but I didn't watch anywhere near as much as what I had done in previous years, and that's just because I felt like the class wasn't that great. But I think
I was obviously a lot different. I was really excited for this one. I think the air of unknown with this one, we kind of know where pick 1 was, and we didn't have a clue what the rest of it was. I thought was exciting, and as someone who watches college football, and not, I was excited to see where the players that I'd followed landed. So it didn't matter whether they were edges, cornerbacks, whether they're blue chip or not. I just wanted to go, I've watched this player. I thought he was great. Where's he going to go? So I was still excited about this draft, and I was excited through 3 rounds of it. And then it sort of tailed off a bit for me after that. But
I was going to say, I think that makes sense for the first round, and actually for most of the second round as well. But once you get past that, it kind of felt like that excitement really did sort of dissipate.